Hello students, welcome to part 10 of how to program the video game Dog's Dinner using Scratch. It's not much fun just racing through the levels without having anything else to do. So let's add some bones that the dog must collect to open the portal. Alright, so in the sprites list, let's click on Paint a New Sprite. So click on the paintbrush. Okay. Alright, we want to make sure that we are in bitmap mode. So the two tools we're going to use are the straight edge tool, the line tool, and the paintbrush tool. So the first thing I want to do is I want to set my color to black, and then I want to set my line width. I don't want to make the line too thick, but I also don't want it paper thin. So I'm definitely going to draw it on, going to position it definitely on the left hand side of this slider here. Okay? All right. So let's first click on the line tool, and what we're going for is we're going to draw a bone, a simple bone about the size of the dog. So whenever we need to paint things by hand, sometimes it takes multiple attempts to get it right. Okay, and it's the same for me. So let's click on the line tool, and what we want to do is we want to draw two horizontal lines. So I'm going to hold the shift key, and I actually don't like the width of that line, so I'm going to undo, and I'm going to make the line a little bit thicker here, just so that I can see it a little bit better. Okay, so again, I'm going to hold the shift key and draw a horizontal line about a centimeter long. And then what I want to try to do is draw a line either on top or directly below it, parallel to it with the same length. So that's going to create the two kind of flat edges of the bone. Now at this point, it's much better if you zoom in. It's much easier to see if you zoom in. And then I need you to change tools to the brush tool. And then what we're going to do is, again, I don't want any spaces because we're going to paint inside of this shape. I want to draw kind of two rounded humps or bumps at the end here, and I don't want any spaces. Okay, so this is the part where you might have to draw it a few times to get it looking correct. Okay, you can undo, you can click the undo button, and I can try this again. Okay, now if you want to see what it's really going to look like, you can zoom out twice, and that's what it's going to look like. So, like I said, if it takes you a few times to get it correct, then that's okay. You can press pause and you can keep attempting. So we don't want any open spaces here, okay? So once you've got it drawn perfectly, we're going to click on the paint can tool, and we're going to fill it with a white color. So make sure you click on the white from the color palette down here. I clicked on the paint can tool, and then I'm going to click once inside. So you'll know that the color didn't leak because you see how the background of the paint editor is still the checkerboard pattern. So that's how I know I colored it inside. You see it's solid white inside. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out. That looks great. Okay, so let's go to the sprites list and let's rename this sprite. So click on the eye, and then what we're going to do is we're going to call it Bone 1. Okay, Bone 1, and then I want you to click the back button. Okay, so let's click on the scripts tab here in the center of the screen, and we're going to build two scripts for Bone 1. Okay, and basically these scripts set the position of the bones on each screen. Okay, so let's start with events, and I'm going to start with when I receive. Okay, so when I receive the setup message, we're going to go to the data blocks and we're going to grab a change by. Change bones by 1. Okay, all right, let's go to the control blocks. And let's grab 3 if-then blocks. 1, 2, 3. So the setup of these 3 if-then blocks is going to be very familiar to the one we did on the last screen for the portals. So let's go to the operators blocks and let's grab 3 equal blocks. 3 equal blocks, and we'll place them in the top arm of each if-then block. So on the equal sign, we have a value for the left side and the right side of each equal sign. So let's go to the data blocks and let's grab a level block for the left value of each equal block. Okay. Then we want to manually type in the numbers 1, 2, and then 3. Level 1, level 2, and level 3. Okay, so let's go to the motion blocks and let's grab 3 go to XY blocks, just like we did with the portals. And again, these blocks set the position of this bone on each level. So for level 1, we want its position, the X value, to be negative 175, negative 175. And then the Y value, we want to set at negative 95. So that's for level 1. Make sure you have the right values in there. For level 2, we want to set the X value at negative 30, and then the Y value at negative 110. The Y value at negative 110. And then finally, for level 3, we want the X value to be negative 150, and then the Y value to be negative 65, negative 65. So please double check these values are correct, or else the bones are going to appear in weird spots on your levels. And then finally, let's go to the looks blocks and let's grab a show block and place it underneath the last if-then block. Okay, so we're going to add a second script here. So let's go to the events blocks and let's grab a when I receive header. When I receive the message start, when I receive the message start, we'll go to the control blocks and we'll grab a wait until. Wait until. Go to the sensing blocks and it is touching. We'll grab a touching block. It is touching the player block. Okay, so this is waiting for the bone to be touched by the player. Then, when the bone is touched by the player, we'll go to the looks blocks and we'll grab a hide block. Then that bone will be hidden. We'll go to the data blocks and we'll grab a change by block. We're going to change the bones by -1. So every time that we collect a bone, it's going to reduce the number of bones that we need to collect. So change bones by -1. Okay. Then we'll go to the sounds blocks and we'll grab a play sound. And we don't want the popping sound, so we're going to load a new sound. So let's click on the sound tab, the sounds tab at the top. And then we'll click on choose sound from library. And then we'll look for dog 1. So dog 1 is simply a bark. So you can play it. Okay, it's a nice bark. So we'll click on dog 1 and then we'll click OK. Then we'll go back to the scripts tab. And then I want you to change the sound to dog 1. Okay? All right. So the game needs more than one bone. Okay? So from the sprites list, we're going to right click on bone 1. We're going to right click here. And then we're going to choose duplicate. So now bone 2 is created. And we're going to right click on bone 1 again and choose duplicate again. So now we have bone 3. Okay? Okay, so on each level there are going to be 3 bones that need to be collected. So let's click on bone 2's sprite. We need to change the position of bone 2. So I want you to make sure that you're on bone 2's sprite. And then we're going to change some of the scripts. So all we're going to do is we're going to change the XY values for each level. So again, make sure you're on bone 2. And I'm going to start with level 1. Okay, so level 1's X position is going to be -10, -10. Then the Y position is going to be +105, +105. For level 2, the X value is going to be -10, -10 for the X value. And for the Y value, I want to type in +80, so just 80. And then for level 3, for the x value, I want to type in 0, 0, and then the y value of 15, positive 15. You don't have to change the other script, but I do want you to double check, triple check that you've got these values correct. Okay? When you do, let's click on bone 3 and let's change its positions. Okay, so make sure you're on bone 3's sprite. So for level 1, we're going to change the x value to 35, positive 35, and then the y value to negative 70. Y value to negative 70. For level 2, the x value is going to be 60, and then the y value is going to be negative 60. Okay. For level 3, we want the x value to be positive 120, 120, and the y value to be 140, 140. All right, so again, take a minute to double check those values. Okay, so again, if they're not correct, then your bones are going to end up in weird spots where they may not be able to be collected. Okay, so let's go to File, Save. So now when we play the game, when you click on the green flag and run your program, you should see 3 bones on each screen, and you will have to collect all 3 bones before the portal will start glowing and for you to open it. So I want you to play the game, make sure you can collect those bones. And I died. So again, test it. Make sure you can get at those bones. Make sure that it triggers the opening of the portable when you collect all 3 bones. Okay? Again, you can change the position of the bones by just tweaking these values in here if you find that a bone is not in the perfect spot. Okay? All right, let's go to File, Save. So this concludes part 10 of the video game project Dog's Dinner. Thanks for watching. Bye.